Okay, so this is going to be my review on Spider-Verse 2, or Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. So there's a lot of Spider-Verse or multiverse or multiverse, whatever you want to call it, movies coming out where there's just a lot of Spider-Man or a lot of something, where it takes place in multiple dimensions. And sorry to say, but I didn't enjoy the movie. I did not enjoy the movie. Did not satisfy me in any way whatsoever. So this movie has a lot of nothing. It has a lot of pointless scenes, filler scenes. They tried to make this a romance movie. They tried to make it a movie where Miles Morales is in love with the Spider Woman, and they just failed miserably. The closest thing to romance in this movie was them. I think they touched for like 1 millisecond, and then the parents just came in like, oh, what are you doing, who is this, blah, blah, blah. And it's just so weird. Like I literally got uncomfortable watching this movie, because it's like you're seeing the same two scenes over and over again. Okay, let's say they're just going to say, oh, Spider-Man has to do this with his parents, and then Spider-Man's going to have to do this, and then he can't do that, and then he has to go, he has to leave. Like, literally the first hour and a half of this movie is just Spider-Man getting in trouble for not showing up to an event, not bringing a cake. Literally the first hour of this movie is just Spider-Man getting in trouble for not bringing a freaking cake. Okay, and I'm going to try not to spoil this movie, but there's really nothing to spoil. Nothing happened in this film. We got absolutely nothing from watching this. 2.5 hours of just nonsense. I mean, the action scenes were okay. The characters didn't. I understand it's a cartoon, but the characters really had no weight. The characters had no weight to their movements. Like when you watch the old Spider-Man movies from the early 2000s, the characters have weight. When you see Spider-Man swinging around, you actually feel him swinging around. You can see his muscles pulling. You can see a whole the vibrations in the air. You can feel it. You can feel the strength of Spider-Man. But now in these movies, they have Spider-Man that's just like this 5'2" skinny black guy, and he's just able to just do anything. He's stronger than people 10 times his size, which makes no sense. And we're dealing with the Spider-Verse, and he does fight hundreds of others. Spoiler. He does fight hundreds of other spider people, and he wins. Why? Plot armor. That's the only explanation. The only explanation is plot armor. This dude's 1 versus 1,000 different Spider-Man, and he's winning. Oh man, they can't kill him. You're telling me 1 million other Spider-Men in other dimensions are all trying to kill this guy, or take him out, and he loses? He wins. He wins the fight. He wins the 1 versus 1,000 fight, which makes no sense. There's nothing. They didn't really go into detail on what makes this guy so special. What makes him so powerful? Yes, they do explain, oh, the spider that bit you wasn't meant for you. It was for the other dimension. No, that doesn't explain being able to 1 versus 1,000 other Spider-Man. And it's very hard to explain this movie, because really it's just a mess. It's just a mess. Your movie should have a beginning, middle, and ending. Your movie should not end on a massive cliffhanger. Your movies just feel the entire movie felt like the beginning. Like, it's just slow, it makes no sense, they don't really pay anything off. It's just, and then they just say, oh, you guys see part 2 to actually get something out of this movie. So you just saw a whole bunch of nothing. All the questions that were supposed to be answered, none of them get answered in this film. If anything, they opened up more questions than answers. So yeah, Miles Morales, from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie, nothing changes about him. He's the same exact person, the same exact boy that literally doesn't even have the courage to ask his crush out. He doesn't have the courage to tell his parents he's Spider-Man. He has no courage. And then they have him tell his parents that he is Spider-Man, but oh, it's a different dimension. It's not, oh no, like, come on, man. You're not supposed to be toying with your audience like that. You're not supposed to just say, oh, we want your character that you're rooting for, that you've been begging him to tell his parents that he is Spider-Man. We're gonna have him actually do it, but it's going to be a different dimension, so it doesn't really count. That's the equivalent of just telling your audience, oh, this entire movie was a dream. Nothing matters. It was a dream. That's the equivalent of that. Saying your character is in a different dimension and not the real world in order to explain some stupid plot inconvenience is not good writing. Now, don't get me wrong. Visually, and I'm speaking purely visually, this movie was a masterpiece visually, but in terms of story, character, actual plot, this movie is easily a 2 out of 10. Easily a 2 out of 10, because nothing got done. The audience felt the movie was too long. I wasn't the only one. Plenty of people in my theater were saying, wow, when's this gonna end? This is way too long, and it seems like there's no real conclusion or climax. This is the route we're going now in Hollywood, where they can't just give you a beginning, middle, and end for your movie you're watching. You'll have to pay again another $15 per ticket in order to see the middle, and then another $15 in order to see the ending. And then they're still going to make sequels to that. So you're just constantly paying to win in a movie watching sense to see the end of your movie. That's like a game where they sell you half of a game and then charge you extra $15 to get the ending to the game. Who the hell wants to watch that? Now I wish I would have never seen this movie, because they're saying you're gonna have to wait another 2 years in order to see the ending. Another 2 years, another year or 2 years. It's probably gonna take like 3 years, honestly. The last movie came out in like what, 2018? So it's gonna be about 3 years. Who in the world wants to wait 3 freaking years to see the ending to a movie they freaking paid for? Who wants to wait 3 freaking years in order to see the ending to a movie they freaking paid for? This movie ruined my birthday. I'm over here thinking, yeah, this is about to be the most amazing ending to the movie ever. I'm grabbing my popcorn. I'm ready. And then it just shuts off. All this suspense was built throughout the entire 2-hour duration for something to happen, anything to happen besides just going from dimension to dimension to dimension to dimension. Oh, every time we have to write an actual believable plot, let's just send our characters into another dimension, and let's just blame the dimension, and let's have a freaking watch that transports people from dimension to dimension, and let's add a bunch, like absurdly ridiculous amount of Spider-Man in this movie. You have a million Spider-Women, you have a million Spider-Man. Ridiculous. And this movie's kind of racist. They had a black, the only black Spider-Woman in this film is pregnant with no father around. Where's her husband? What kind of absurd nonsense is this? And then they had the Indian Spider Man, whatever you want to call it. They said he stunk, he didn't wear deodorant. They were saying a whole bunch of stereotypes about this person. The whole segment of that worthless those worthless Indian scenes, Indian Spider-Man, who made this? Who comes up with this? This is the most childish nonsense I've ever seen. And no, this movie is not made for children. This movie is not made for children. This movie is clearly advertised for adults. Okay, I didn't see a single child in the movie theater. This is not made for children. This is made for teenagers and young adults. Okay, it's not made for children. And if you're making your movie for young adults, at least write it good. Okay, don't make childish jokes. Don't make stereotypes. Don't stereotype your characters. Oh, we're gonna have the black Spider-Man. We're gonna have the Indian Spider-Man. We're gonna have the black woman Spider, and they don't have any real character to them. It's just, oh, this Spider-Man's black. Oh, this Spider-Man's Indian. Wow, that's so cool. And they don't have any character. Notice how all the Spider-Man in all the dimensions or universes, whatever you want to call it, don't have any substance. Don't have any substance. They're just there. They're just there. Oh, we're going to have this Spider-Man because we want to have this Spider-Man. We're going to have that Spider-Man. And there's just way too much to keep up with. Why not, instead of having a million bad Spider-Man, why not just make like 5, 6, 7, 8 good ones? Why do you have to have a million freaking characters in your film? Do you seriously think people are going to be zooming in to these Spider-Men you see in the background and these huge crowds of Spider-Men and just zoom in on the character and analyze them? No, nobody's going to do that. They don't matter to the film. They're just there. They're just visual eye candy for a bunch of neckbeards who are obsessed with Spider-Man. And hey, Spider-Man was my favorite genre as a kid. It was Spider-Man, Star Wars. Those were my favorite genres, or not franchises, as a kid. But now I'm looking at this like, we haven't really gotten a good, genuine Spider-Man movie since the original Spider-Man, the early 2000s one. They were way better. They were way more mature, and it just didn't spam a bunch of Spider-Man. Oh, we're going to have this time travel plot that takes place in different dimensions. We're going to have millions of different Earths. I mean, let's be real. This is just an excuse to sell comic books. This is just an excuse to sell comic books, and it's just nonsense. It's clearly a plot by Sony, Marvel, in order to sell comic books. Oh, you want the Indian Spider-Man? We're gonna make a comic based on the Indian Spider-Man. We're gonna charge you like $50 to buy it. You want this, and they're just going to sell billions of dollars worth of toys. They're gonna have these plush toys of every single Spider-Man you saw in that movie, and they're going to charge an arm and a leg for it. Now let's be real. The romance in this movie was bad. The character development was just awkward because it never really led to anything. There was no payoff. It's just nonstop Spider-Man ditching his family over and over again, and no payoff, nothing. It's like the film watcher version of Blue Balls. You're not supposed to walk out of the theater feeling incomplete. You're not supposed to. You should feel complete. You should be happy. You should feel fulfilled after watching a movie. Like, compare watching this film and walking out of the theater to watching the original Terminators, the original Star Wars, the original freaking Forrest Gump, I don't know. But those movies had a beginning, a middle, and an end. These movies are just stuck on the beginning. They keep adding on and on and on and on and on to the story with nothing to pay off. It's just, oh, we're gonna place a bunch of freaking cool action scenes all over, and you know, they'll just keep coming back. These nerds, they're obsessed with this. They're just obsessed with these movies. They're just gonna keep coming back. We don't have to add an actual conclusion to our movies. No sirree. And compare this movie to the plot of Spectacular Spider-Man. I think that was in my autoplay. Yeah, Spectacular Spider-Man. Now that's the best Spider-Man story-wise I've ever seen. A freaking cartoon show. You don't need this overly detailed animation in order to have a good story. Notice how the animation was, oh my god, the animation was good, but the story is what matters. I don't care how good your animation is, but if the story is great, I will watch. Oh my god, just watching this makes me want to watch the original Spectacular Spider-Man movies again. Or show. Yeah, this was way better. Spider-Man was way more likable. Miles Morales just seems like a little twerp. He just seems like a brat, ditching his parents, lying to them, probably stealing their money, too cowardly to get the girl he wants. Who wants to like him? Not me. I don't. He's not likable. Just because they made him black, they think, oh, all the black people will go see this movie just because he's black. No, no. Oh, we're gonna match him up with the white woman, and then we're gonna make the only black woman in the movie. She's gonna be pregnant with an unknown man or an unknown person by an unknown person. God damn, I can't speak as late. But yeah, this movie is just a clusterfuck. This movie is just a clusterfuck. I'm not going woke, but let's be real. Let's be honest. A lot of the just utter nonsense that was in this movie could be seen as offensive. Like, I was sitting next to an Indian person when they showed the Indian Spider-Man, and they were just like, wow, what the heck am I watching? I came here to see Spider-Man, not some freaking making fun of Indian people. I mean, it wasn't funny. It would be okay if the joke actually landed, but it didn't. Oh, this Indian guy, he doesn't wear deodorant. Oh, look at all these Indian people that's packed in buses. Like, they showed, like, they made a joke about like 20 Indian people sitting on a motorcycle. They're like, look at all these Indian people just sitting on a motorcycle. Wow. Why are they doing this? Why are they just packed full? Now, the stereotype might be true, but it's still just awkward. I don't want that in a freaking Spider-Man movie. You can come up with millions of other different things to say in your movie. Now, I'm not trying to be woke or whatever, but you know, it's just weird. You could say anything, you can do anything, you could add anything into your plot that you want, but that's what you chose. You chose to add some sort of generic Indian Spider-Man that has no real purpose to the plot or the story. It's just padding. If they were to condense this movie to just the important parts, the movie would be only like 20 minutes. This movie had only 20 minutes of important plot. Okay, and it's just so bad. And notice how these movies get like 99% on Rotten Tomatoes, some impossible rating. And they're like, yeah, it's good. I'm starting to think those are bots or NPCs. These guys are just NPCs. And this is not trolling, but I just genuinely think that praising a movie that doesn't have the most important part of the movie, which is the ending, is not a good thing. That's setting a precedent. So all the superhero movies that will come out will have 2-3 parts. Just, they don't have to have an ending. And it's more fuck, what is the word? Okay, it's better for the consumer to have a beginning, middle, and an end to your movie. Okay, a beginning, a middle, and an end. So you pay for your movie ticket, $15-$20. You get your beginning, your middle, and your end. Now in the future, you will pay the same amount of money, but you will only get the beginning and maybe the middle if you're lucky, but you won't get the end. It's a cash grab. It's like what video games are doing. Everything. So now they're adding sequels within sequels now, and people are eating it up. They're eating it up. Oh, sequel. Having a bunch of sequel movies wasn't enough. Let's add sequels within our sequel within our sequel, and just have them pay for it. It's sickening. It's sick. It's disgusting. It's immoral. I'm gonna watch the old Spider-Man shows, and I'm gonna watch the old Spider-Man movies. Spider-Man, this movie was racist. First of all, this movie was freaking racist, and I'm not saying I personally was offended, because I wasn't, but it was just awkward. It was just bloated with childish nonsense. It's not a child movie. They cursed several times in this movie. Several times. Gwen, she was an NPC. She like the first half of the movie, she just made no sense. She didn't really have any character to her. She wasn't really a likable person. Like, I was literally cheering for the enemies in this movie. I was like, yeah, please get her. Yes, freaking kill him. Because they're just so annoying. The characters are just so unlikable. Miles Morales, just ditching his parents, lying to his parents. I'm supposed to root for this guy because he's too cowardly to tell his parents he has the best powers you could possibly have. How is that something to lie about? That's not something to lie about. Let's be real. If we had superpowers, the first thing we do is tell absolutely everybody. Absolutely everybody. So why do these Spider-Man movies keep going off the same thing? Oh, Spider-Man, he has to lie to his parents, and then lie to his employees. Then he has to keep his identity. I'm like, come on. Come on, man. It's not believable. It's not believable. You would only go so far to lie. At a certain point, you're just going to spill the beans. You're going to give yourself up. Somebody's going to see him taking off his mask and putting it back on. Somebody's going to take a picture. Eventually, nobody can keep their identity fully a secret. Somebody can check the security cams and just see him putting on his mask and taking it off and flying in the air. His identity would absolutely be identified within like 30 seconds. Especially in New York, they have like cameras everywhere. Come on. I want a Spider-Man movie where Spider-Man is a celebrity and he tells everybody he's Spider-Man. Peter Parker or Miles Morales is Spider-Man, and he has to live his life as a celebrity, fighting crimes. He's a freaking god, pretty much. I'd like to see that movie rather than some teenage boy lying to his parents, screwing his parents over, messing up their cake, just being a douchebag. No sort of empathy or morals. Nowhere in the movie does he even feel guilty for lying to his parents. He just keeps lying to his parents. I'm going to keep blowing off my parents. I'm going to keep not answering their text messages. And he just does it again and again and again and again. This Spider-Man is just not likable. The old Spider-Man, he at least tried to keep a balance between personal life. Like the Spider-Man in Spectacular Spider-Man, he actually had a personal life. No friends, nothing, zero, zip. He's literally just his parents and Gwen. So, first of all, this movie is very bad for anybody trying to get laid to watch. Because if you don't want to get laid, do exactly what Miles Morales did in this movie, which is simp over a girl and not have any friends and blow off your parents and live with your parents. Is that the route to getting a girl? And then he got friend. I'm pretty sure he's friend zoned. If this movie was realistic, he would have got friend zoned. He would have got friend zoned within the first 30 seconds. I thought he was friend zoned for like the first 2/3 of the movie, but apparently, yeah, he still is friend zoned. There's nothing romantic. There was no kiss. There was no love. There was even simps can get hugs. He didn't get that. So this guy, I don't know what's wrong with this guy, but yeah, it's just a bad movie. It's just a bad movie where the characters are just lame. They're all lame, bro. The old Spider-Man, he was a nerd. You can be a nerd and not be lame. This Spider-Man was lame. He wasn't a nerd. He wasn't a tech guru. There's no, we don't even know his personality, really. I mean, he barely says anything in the movie. He has no real dialogue. He has like 2-3 sentence long dialogues, and that's it. The action scenes were meh. At a certain point, your action scenes should only last so long before I just start tuning out. Okay, your action scene shouldn't last freaking 30 minutes because nobody wants to keep on. Your eyes can only keep track of so much action before you're like, okay, when does this pay off? And they keep fighting and fighting and fighting, and nobody ever wins. Notice that Spider-Man fights with a guy, nothing happens, nobody wins, no payoff. Spider-Man has a crush on Gwen Stacy, no payoff. Spider-Man is hiding secrets from his parents, no payoff. Your ticket costs the same, but you don't get any payoff, and people are still giving it good reviews. People are still saying this is a good movie. People are still saying this is best Spider-Man ever. These people are stupid. These people are stupid consumers who have no idea what a good movie is. Zero clue what a good movie is. It's just disgusting. It's just disgusting. They're gonna make a Spider-Verse 3, 4, 5, 6. Who cares? I'm staying home. The next time a piece of filth like this gets released, I'm staying home. I refuse to pay for a movie that doesn't have an ending. And I recommend the rest of you guys do the same. I recommend you guys do this. Stay home. Don't watch it. You don't have to watch a Spider-Man movie just because Spider-Man reminds you of your childhood. You don't. And a lot of you guys are blinded by nostalgia when watching these movies. Oh, Spider-Man, and they just put a whole bunch of they don't have to have an actual plot in their movie. Just put a bunch of Spider-Man. You got a bunch of Spider-Man in your Spider-Man movie, and that's all you idiots need. That's what the director's saying. That's all you idiots need. Just a bunch of Spider-Man, and that's it. Because literally, that's all this movie was. A bunch of Spider-Man. No plot. No character development, no payoff, no ending. The animators are the only people who actually did their job. The writers aren't. The writers did not do their job. The animators probably worked their butt off to make this movie, but it's ruined with the bad writing. It's absurd. It's absurd. I think this movie, it's not good. It's overrated. Watch when the hype dies down. People are gonna laugh at this movie and say it's terrible.